For Kelly. Right. If you guys haven't signed this, we're gonna be submitting this today. Make sure you put, even if you did the online version, only the paper one will actually go to the legislature. So if you haven't signed this up, please do fill out the whole information. So thank you again for everybody coming. It's a nice rainy day, which is great. You know, just a little, so it's not too humid and hot for us. Few things that I want to touch on. We will be moving into the stage 2 of opening. Wow!
Thank you.
Let's do a weak applause for the stage 2, everybody, right? What a joke! Come on. So, again, we've been told back in March that we need to stay home.
2 weeks.
We need to social distance, whatnot. We need to protect the risk population and everyone else, and we got to do it for the 2 weeks to make sure that we protect the hospital capacity, because we're going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people just flooding the hospitals. And obviously, living in Canada, we are all nice, polite, considerate people. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes, of course. That's why everyone loves Canada, right? If you ask anybody else in the world, how are the Canadians, you always hear the compliment, nice, polite. You know, the sorry song is a joke, right? We use sorry about anything. Even if somebody bumped into us, we say sorry, right? Like, this is who we are. So,
sorry and thank you.
yeah, you bump into the tree, you apologize to the tree, right? Like, you want to talk about how nice and considerate Canadians are? Well, guess what? We are nice and considerate, and that's why we're here today, and we've been here for over 2 months, because we consider of people that have been completely forgotten by this government.
And push to the limit.
Like, enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
As soon as the emergency order came in and they had to protect the capacity of the hospital, right away, over 52,000 necessary hospital procedures were cancelled. I repeat, over 52,000 necessary hospital procedures were cancelled.
Like
I'm not talking about some, plastic surgery
fixed.
stuff, whatever,
I've got
even
a
though
major
some people
infection.
have some important issues with that. I'm talking about cancer screening surgeries.
Hopefully
I'm
I
talking
don't
about
go
heart
septic.
disease surgeries. I'm talking about any other surgeries that people, somebody canceled the hip replacement surgeries. Like, if you don't adjust that, then you're immobile for the next 3 months. What kind of health status are you going to have 3 months later when you were supposed to be mobile and recovering? Can you imagine that? All those are necessary, not elective, necessary hospital procedures. And every single week after that happened, over 12,000 extra necessary hospital procedures were canceled. What happened to those people? Who's thinking and considering those lives being completely ruined? No one. Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Then we're going to talk about small businesses. And yes, everybody in the beginning, when myself and a few others that have been doing this movement from the day one, we try to educate people on social media, and we try to make sure people understand. There's a lot of different aspects that people need to consider. This is not a single issue. You have to look a little bit further than your nose to understand that when you implement such strict regulations, people's businesses and livelihood will be affected. And that's their whole life. Everything built on the small business environment for those lives. They invested, sometimes generations to build something up, and this is their own livelihood that they have. And it's a part of them. It's literally essential part of their well-being, and that's been completely discredited and forgotten. And then we're going to talk about, I'm losing my train of thought. So, and then what happened after that is the business class being suppressed, because they are the free thinkers, right? They don't want to be talked about. They're not going to be pushing against. So yes. So what I was saying is, that people try to shame us with, well, your livelihood is more important than grandma, right? Don't kill my grandma. But you're going outside and open up your business. Well, guess what? It has nothing to do with your grandma. It has to do with my livelihood, and everything is important. The thing that people need to understand, there's a regular death rate for population, and it's just about 1%. That's just a statistic that happens. People die every single day from multitude of reasons, right? There's car accidents, there's other accidents that happen, there's other disease that happen, and anybody knows what's the age expectancy for Canadians? 84, 86 years old. That's the age expectancy, how long a Canadian is expected to live. 84 to 86 years old. Guess what's the average age of people unfortunately dying from this virus?
80.
Over 80 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, which lives are we trying to save? And with all due respect, we gotta help everyone. But when it comes at the expense of people that's supposed to be living healthy and vibrant lives, and now they committing suicides, the cancer surgery has been cancelled, so they're going to be unfortunately dying from cancer. People's immune system is being suppressed because they're depressed, and they unfortunately overuse drugs and alcohol, and it's happening all across the nation and all across the world because the government doesn't put the stress on the health and nutrition. All the money that this federal and provincial governments spend in the last 3 months giving money to pharmaceutical companies to make a vaccine for the virus that death rate is comparable to regular flu is ridiculous. All this money should have been spent to elevate everybody else's health. And this is the biggest point that I want to make. Instead of living in harmony and symbiosis with nature, and that's how we all should live, we're trying to create a fear and fighting against germs and viruses. We are made of bacteria. Our DNA is majority, not even ours, it's different bacteria part of us. And if you're fighting against yourself, guess who's going to lose? You're going to lose. Yeah. And this is what people, these so-called health experts don't know. We know clearly what we're doing. Again, I said this before. If I could have understood in the first couple of weeks the government officials wanted to be cautious and protect and whatnot, they didn't know what really is going to happen. We know now, after over 3 months of data, it's real. We have our own sick kids hospital right here. One of the best hospitals in the whole country came out with a report on June 17th saying specifically, children outside do not transmit this virus. Children are not a risk sector for this virus. Globally, this virus affects 5 to 10% of children globally. In Canada, less than 7% of children are affected by this virus. When they tested over 5,000 children with symptoms, they only found 30 to be positive for this virus. Out of 5,000, only 30. When they tested 1,500 children with symptoms, they found 0 children affected with this virus. In the whole country, we had no one dying below 19 years old. And there's, I believe for Toronto specifically, I think 7 children needed hospitalization and 0 needed to go into ICU. 0. And today Tory said, even though we are finally going to move to stage 2, again, weak applause for stage 2 everybody. Unbelievable. Wow, stage 2. The playgrounds are still closed. They're not going to open the playgrounds. This is total ridiculous nonsense that has to end immediately. Children have to be outside. Children have to be playing and enjoying their lives. If this was ever a time for children to boost their immune system and boost their health, this is the time now. Enough is enough.
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 And let's talk about a big elephant in the room. The big elephant in the room are masks. Masks have to be mandatory for all the municipalities. Our premier said he's not going to mandate the mask. Okay, fine, but they're going to mandate it from all the municipalities. So we got to talk about Hugs of a Mask initiative. We got to educate the people. It does work. The flyers do work. The shirts work. So we're going to push. I'm going to come back. I'm talking a little bit after. I'm going to bring Kelly back so she can introduce our featured amazing speaker. Thank you, everyone.
Vlad, everybody, thank you.